We start with exclusive breaking news you're only going to see this morning on Denver7. Federal agents raided a party being hosted by Tren de Aragua early this morning along Federal Boulevard.
Over 4 dozen people have been detained, and our investigative reporter Tony Kovaleski started getting some tips to him late last night, got up really early this morning and headed straight there. Tony, thank you so much for being with us. You're coming straight from that scene. Can you break down exactly what you're hearing from those in charge?
Well, here's what we were told and what we learned, and actually a long-term operation that culminated last night, started about 9 o'clock. Arrests started happening about 3 in the morning. We got there a little bit after 5 and show you pictures now. This was North Federal Boulevard, 6600 block. You can see federal agents, DEA agents, also supported by Adams County Sheriff. That's a federal bus where the detention took place, and that's where the detainees are walked in right now. You can see some of them. We're told by the DEA many were members of Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan gang. About 50 people detained and being processed right now. They were taken out in that bus after a long-term operation. Again, the 6600 block of North Federal. It started happening about 9 last night. According to the special agent in charge, this was an invitation-only party for TDA. Okay. They were there partying inside. They did say that they found drugs inside, cocaine, and a new street drug that's out there. No word yet of any fentanyl or amounts of money, but this is an operation that we're told the DEA has been watching closely for several weeks. They moved in last night. The arrest happened, as we said, at 3 in the morning. They continued processing that bus, pulling out a little bit after 6. You can see it's a pre-dawn hour. We counted more than 4 dozen people on that bus as they pulled away. ICE was involved. This was a multi-federal operation, and they are now processing, looking at backgrounds of all of the individuals and making decisions on what is next.
Yes, and we know that President Donald Trump recently sworn into office, and he said that he's going to be very aggressive when it comes down to immigrants who are in this country, especially immigrants who are doing quote unquote bad things. Do we know if any way if this is connected to his most recent executive orders that he's been issuing with that aggressive push to get immigrants out of our country?
I asked that specific question one year to the special agent in charge, and he said, we do know there's a new administration. We've been given new marching orders. TDA has been on their map for a long time, and the concerns have been raised by the DEA. They were aware of what was happening last night. Obviously, when you have an invitation-only event and all these TDA gang members there, according to the special agent in charge, it's an opportunity, and that's what they took. They moved in early this morning, and now they're in the process of figuring out everything they have. What are the records of those individuals? Do they belong in our country? Are they citizens? Are they non-citizens? And how they go. But it's very fluid right now. What we do know, 50 people detained in an operation that started at 9 o'clock last night, wrapped up a little bit after 6 this morning.
Yeah, we know that the Laken-Ryland Act has not been signed into law just yet, but when it does, if these illegal immigrants are detained and they are convicted of heinous crimes or even accused, it's going to be a lot easier for states and also the federal government to deport them.
Well, remember, what you're hearing from ICE sources, not only here in Colorado, but throughout the country, is they are trying to pick up the worst of the worst, the bad criminals, the bad actors that they don't want in the country. And if this is part of that, we'll know more later today. But certainly this is an operation that DEA told us they've been keeping eyes on for several weeks and maybe months. And last night was their opportunity to move in.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Tony, for your reporting. We understand you're going to be with us throughout the show this morning. You'll have a little bit more during our next half hour.
At 9:30, we're going to hear from the DEA special agent in charge. He was there this morning. He's going to describe what they did and talk about your specific question. Is this related to the operations that are taking place nationwide, sparked by what President Trump has said he wants to do? And we're hearing more could be happening later this week, but this could be the first of that whole process here in Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Tony, we thank you so much. Chief Investigative Reporter here at Denver7, breaking news exclusively here on Denver7 News this morning.